Tottenham, no question, is absolutely a project. To me, they're kind of back to where they were when Pochettino took over. So I think they need a manager like a Pochettino, a young manager who's going to be given time, who's not going to be complaining about not having money, but who's going to be able to build over a period of time. Because Antonio Conte does not want a project whatsoever. And if I'm Antonio Conte, I wait and do the old, I'll just have a year off.
Right.
In a year's time, if we get the fans back for a full season, then clubs are going to have some money. Then you make your way back. I don't think he does it now, because there doesn't seem like there's anywhere to go that fits the way he manages.
History has told us that Conte likes to spend money, that he wants money to be able to go out and get the players that he needs. Spurs isn't necessarily the club you think of when you think of teams that spend money frivolously, Gab.
No, not at all. And obviously that is one obvious concern, and the guys make really good points there. On the flip side, you're not just getting Conte, you'd be getting Fabio Paratici first, and you'd be getting somebody he's worked with before, somebody who supposedly is really good in the transfer market, or people think he is. And I think that's important. The other thing about Conte, let's not forget, Conte took over a Chelsea team that under Mourinho I think had finished 10th the year before, and he won the title straight away. He took over a Juventus side in 2011 that hadn't won Serie A since 2003, or they would say they'd won it with Calciopoli, but obviously they didn't. So they were relegated second division, had done nothing, and he won 3 straight titles in a row. So Conte is a guy who sees himself as somebody who can build a team over time as well. Obviously, the relationship with Daniel Levy is going to be crucial, because we know that that's when things went south at Chelsea as well in his second year. But I also want to remind everybody, it's not like, with all due respect, it's not like he's joining Gillingham. Spurs in December, as Mourinho will no doubt remind us, were joint top of the table. Then things went wrong. But if you can channel some of that, I think, there's an argument to be made that Tottenham, with the right manager, aren't that far away from a top 4 finish.
Wow.
And maybe even that trophy that Harry Kane wants.
You can't say that. Last year was an absolutely incredible year, full of so many ups and downs, so many crazy things. Tottenham are miles away. In fact, Tottenham are actually, if we were talking about the top 4 next year, would you say Tottenham's going to be in the top 4? Because I certainly wouldn't. Well, I don't think anybody else in this,
you wouldn't,
in our sort of group, like Craig or anybody else, would say Tottenham's going to be in the top 4 next year. So how can you say they're not that far away? No. They're miles away. The whole back line needs redone. They need no question in the middle of the park. They need players, and you might lose Harry Kane. They're miles away.
Stevie, in December, no team in England had more points than they did, right? They were level with Liverpool at the top of the table in December. Then everything went south. I'm not saying they're dead search to finish top 4, but there was something good going on there. After Jose Mourinho took over from Pochettino the year before, I think they had the 3rd most points the rest of the season. So there are good players on this team. There were good things that were done.
Sorry. Gab, sticking 10 men behind the
fell
ball
apart.
not a good
Everything
thing.
fell apart.
Sticking 10 men behind the ball is not a good thing.
Well, whatever,
good thing going on. No, but not.
Jurgen, just overall, like we're talking about a top 4 place of success for Spurs. Does Conte want that and want to pin that up as success after winning big titles, obviously coming into this after that victory for Inter? You go into a scenario where your trophy is a top 4 finish?
Well, his only belief can be to go to Spurs and win something right away. I mean, and winning in England means it's the Premier League first and foremost. So he has to be convinced that this is actually doable if he would consider a move to Tottenham. I think Tottenham's biggest problem right now, they have no identity anymore. After the disaster, obviously, on the playing field, but also disaster with the Super League. So there are huge problems there, and the fans just questioning, okay, what do we stand for? Tottenham was always famous for entertaining the fans. They're having outstanding creative players that make a difference and really entertain the crowd. This is Tottenham. Then yeah, if we win something at the end of the day, it's great and it's our job. But the Tottenham Spurs, the Spurs fans are very sophisticated. They know what's really going on the field. So now after this negative chapter with Mourinho, they want to see a manager coming in that makes sure that, he's looking also after the fans. He's looking after what the fans would like to see. And this is entertainment. So it's a really tricky point right now. It's not always about, okay, you're going to come in, you got to win the title. It's more than that. So it's going to be really interesting how Conte would see something like that. And if Conte really is confident enough to come in at Spurs and say, you know what, I know what Spurs is all about. And on top of that, I'm going to make you win a trophy right away. That's going to be a difficult one.
Conte or Pochettino? If it was simple, just a choice at recess, Jurgen, who are you choosing to be your coach of Spurs?
No, I mean, Mauricio, obviously, he had a great relationship with all the players. He really kind of got them better in every position. He formed that team and then he was let go at a moment where he himself, was totally surprised. But they wanted to make the big bang with Mourinho, and they got the big bang, and they did an Amazon, a documentary and all that stuff, and all the marketing side looked really amazing. But the marketing side should always come after the football side. Football always should come first, and I think there was a couple of mistakes made. If you now choose a manager for the future of this club, I mean, I think you have to choose the manager based on the tradition and based on the identity of Tottenham Hotspur. And I described that before. I think this is what I think in a mastermind Johan Cruyff did with Barcelona. He created this Barcelona based on an idea of football, total football, obviously it's called, attacking minded, very, very, highly technical, fast-paced and very aggressive going forward all the time. He created that. And then since Johan Cruyff at Barcelona, all the managers that came after Johan Cruyff, were based on that style of play. They came in and they had to commit to that style of play. If maybe a manager came in and didn't follow that style of play that was described the Barca style, well, he was sacked after maybe 6 months, at the latest after 12 months. And that's kind of, I think, the first question that need to be answered, at White Hart Lane is, now what type of football are we standing for?
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.